But yeah, the big breaking news from Oliver Glasner. He's just finished speaking to the media. Some huge news concerning both his future as well as the future of Marc Guéhi. Let's listen to what Glasner's had to say.
Oliver, it appears that Manchester City are stepping up their interest in trying to sign Marc in this transfer window. What's your latest understanding?
My latest understanding that the deal with Marc is in the final stages. I can't confirm a club because it's still not done, but in the final stages, and the result is that Marc doesn't play tomorrow for us.
And how do you feel about losing your captain at this stage of the season?
Oh, I mentioned it a few weeks ago when I was pretty clear that, let's say, every player, and depending on his contract situation, there is a price where a club says we want to do it, and when the player says I want to move on, a deal will happen, and it looks like that this happened now, and that's why, yes, of course, from talking about sports, but nobody in the team will tell you something different. Different is everybody wanted Marc to stay forever. Crystal Palace captain and playing here, but reality is different.
Have you spoken to Marc? How does he feel about potentially departing a football club where he's had so much success and he's been such a key figure for the club?
Oh yes, I had a talk to him, but of course it stays between us, what we are talking. But I think Marc has shown it in the summer transfer window, has shown it the whole autumn season so far, that he was 100% committed to the team, to Crystal Palace, and of course I wish him all the best for the rest of his career, and he will have a great career. I think he's still at the beginning of his great career, and he will have a great future because he's a fantastic player and a fantastic guy.
Does it feel like a sensible move for the football club, considering he wasn't going to sign a new contract, and for a club like Crystal Palace to lose a player like Marc Guéhi for free would potentially be a problem?
I think this is what, for every club, is a problem if you lose a player for free, but that's the situation. I think on the other side, also the clubs are responsible for the situations because they are paying quite high signing fees for free players. So I think every club has signed a free player, and then you can't point with your finger on other clubs and you do the same. So I think that's just the football business where we are in, and this is what we have to accept. And if you can't find an agreement for a new deal, these things happen. Yeah, but of course, every team wants to avoid this.
Have you had any assurances that you'll be able to find a replacement? Because clearly there is enough time to find a replacement in this transfer window. Yeah,
we have to find, and let's see.
How have the players reacted to the fact their captain's departed?
Hey, sure. What do you think about this one, Dougie?
Well, it's a difficult one. I think they obviously didn't want to lose Guehi, but there's obviously the 1 year left on his deal, so they wanted to get a fee rather than lose him for free next year. It has gone on and on, whereas last week they got Yeremy Pino in as Eberechi Eze's replacement. I'm surprised that they maybe didn't make a move for a more established centre-back earlier on in the window. It feels like they have left it slightly late. I was speaking to a Crystal Palace fan on an X Space at lunchtime today when we spoke to a representative of every Premier League club, and he said, frankly, it's weird that we're even trying to sign a Brighton player. So I don't think this guy's maybe too disappointed. But from a Palace perspective, it just feels like after all the good work of last season, Oli Glasner has made perfectly clear throughout this window that he wanted more additions and wanted to kick on. And again, they've left it pretty late in the window. So let's see whether they do manage to sign a replacement. I think at this stage, especially given his performance against Aston Villa yesterday, most Palace fans will probably just rather keep Guehi for a year and lose him for free, because ultimately they're not the club's accountants. But it does feel like this will be the big talking point for the next 2 hours, because most deals, and there's been loads of them, have been wrapped up.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly, yeah, given, like you say, Oli Glasner's comments about Marc Guéhi potentially worrying times. Doogie is going to be monitoring the chat, by the way, and monitoring the latest goings on deadline day. So yeah, get in the chat, get involved. I think we've got a poll up as well, so we'll be seeing the results of that very shortly. Like you say, Doogs, I mean, so many transfers that have been wrapped up or wrapping up on deadline day today. I mean, we may as well stick on Liverpool. Alexander Isak finally done. I mean, yeah, what do you make of this? And also Newcastle getting in, their replacements as well.
Well, I think that's quite crucial, because I think a lot of fans earlier in the summer were sort of taking the mickey out of Newcastle and their inability to land these top targets, whether it was João Pedro or Guehi or even Liam Delap. It just felt like name after name was leaking to the media and the public, and it was getting a little bit embarrassing. Whereas middle of last week, was it about Thursday time, the sort of bomber drops that Nick Woltemade has been signed from Stuttgart. I think a lot of people who haven't watched a lot of Bundesliga football sort of said, Nick who? But this is a guy who had a phenomenal year for Stuttgart last year, and it was his first real top season, I think it's worth saying, in a top 5 league. He signed on a free the previous summer from Werder Bremen. He then